Hi, welcome to today's training, Boss Moves with Michelle, and we're going to be talking about stop chasing views and start creating content people remember. Have you ever created a post for your business, hit publish, and then kept checking to see how many people viewed it? I have, I'm sure we all have. Did you check to see how many likes did it get? If anybody commented, why didn't this post do as well as my last post? Or maybe you looked at somebody else's post and seen that they're getting thousands of views and wondered, what am I doing wrong? And today I want to challenge the way we think about that because you don't need to go viral to build a business that people remember. I'm Michelle Pachesney, and I'm the founder of Boss Ladies Creating Empires, and I want to welcome you to Boss Moves with Michelle. This week, we're continuing a conversation that started in my full community over going viral workshop. That workshop was taught live, it was one time, and there isn't a public replay. But there were some important lessons in that workshop that I want to continue talking about here. And one of the biggest ones was this: getting attention and building a relationship, they're not the same thing. So today we're going to talk about what we actually should be looking for when we're creating content for our business. Now I want to talk about something that happened to me. So I want to ask you the same question that I asked the audience in the workshop. Would you rather have 10,000 people see your content and keep scrolling? Or would you rather have 100 of the right people see your content, remember what you do, and start a conversation with you? Think about that. Because I've experienced the big number side of this myself. I've had content that went viral, reached approximately 10,000 views. I did pay for this to help get views. And at that time, 10,000 views, that can sound pretty exciting. But I learned a big lesson from this. And the lesson that I learned was a big number doesn't automatically mean a big result. Those views didn't automatically create relationships. They didn't automatically create clients. They didn't automatically create opportunities. And they definitely didn't mean 10,000 people suddenly understood what I did. Now, I want you to imagine something different. Maybe only, let's say, 100 of the right people seeing your content. Someone may comment. Someone might start to follow you. Someone might send you a message. Someone remembers your name. Someone thinks of you when a friend needs exactly what you provide. Have you ever had, you know, 6 months later, someone says to you, "Hey, Michelle, I saw something you posted and I've been following you ever since." Which number actually mattered? Now, I'm not saying, and I don't want you to get me wrong, I'm not saying reach doesn't matter. Of course, we want people to discover us, but I want our reach to lead somewhere. That's the difference. And that's where chasing views can become a problem. Here's what can happen when we start chasing numbers. We begin creating content for the number instead of the person. Our content becomes random. Monday, we talk about one thing. Tuesday, it's something completely different. Wednesday, we saw something trending. So we said, we're going to talk about that. Thursday, we don't know what to post. So we grab a quote. Friday, we're promoting something. We're posting. We're visible. But does anybody actually know what we do? That's the question. Because there's a difference between being seen and being known. Being seen is, oh, I've seen her post before. Being known, that is, I know exactly what she does. And even better is I know exactly when I should recommend her. And that's what we're trying to build. Here's a quick test you can do with your own content. I want you to look back on your last 5 posts. If someone discovered you today and those 5 posts were all they knew about you, could they tell you this? Who do you help? What problem do you solve? What do you talk about consistently? And when should somebody think of you? If those answers are not clear, you may not need more content. You may need more connected content. And this was something we worked on in the full workshop that I want you to try. You don't need 5 different topics to create 5 different posts. I want you to choose one problem. And let's use the example of a business coach. So let's say you're a business coach and your audience is constantly overthinking their next business move. That's your topic. So Monday, maybe you're going to teach something. And I'll give you some examples so you have an idea. 3 signs overthinking is keeping you stuck. Tuesday, start a conversation. What business decision have you been overthinking? Then Wednesday, tell a story about a time that you hesitated to make a decision. Thursday, ask a community discussion question. And then Friday, give them an action step that they can take. 5 pieces of content, one problem. Now your audience is repeatedly hearing you talk about something you actually want to become known for. That's very different from randomly filling a content calendar. But there's another piece that people miss. The post isn't where your job ends. If somebody comments, talk to them. If somebody asks a question, answer it. If three people tell you they're struggling with the same thing, pay attention because your audience is telling you what they need. And that comment could become your next post. Or that question could become your next 10-minute training. Several people struggling with the same problem could eventually become a workshop. That's why community is so valuable. We're not just talking at people, we're listening. And that brings me to the shift I want you to make this week. I don't want you worrying about creating more and more content. I want you thinking about creating content people can connect with. So, your boss move for this week is very simple. I want you to choose one problem your audience has. And first, I want you to teach it. So let's use Monday as an example. Teach it. Tell them something useful about that problem. Second, I want you to talk about it. That would be Tuesday's post. Ask them a question. Give them an opportunity to tell you what they're experiencing. And third, give them one action. Help them do something with what you've taught them. That's it. You don't need 7 new topics. You don't need to post every hour. You don't need to spend an entire day on social media. One problem, one conversation, several ways of approaching it. The full Community Over Going Viral workshop went much deeper into this topic. We talked about recognition, conversation, trust, and opportunity. We looked at relationships already surrounding our businesses. And we worked through how content can become the beginning of a relationship instead of simply another post. And that workshop was taught live, and there isn't a public replay. But I'm going to continue bringing pieces of these bigger conversations to you through Boss Moves with Michelle every Monday on YouTube. And coming up for our next Boss Moves, we're going to talk about something I think a lot of business owners struggle with. What do I post every week? I'm going to show you how to take one idea and turn it into a week's worth of content. Then we're going to talk about how to take the content you've already created and repurpose it instead of consistently or constantly starting over. And we're going to talk about how you can schedule content and still be present and authentic in your community. Because scheduled content doesn't mean you're not showing up. It means you're creating a system that actually gives you more time to have conversations. So remember, you don't need everybody to see you. You need the right people to understand you remember you, and trust you. Attention gets you seen. Consistency helps you become known. Conversation builds relationships. Trust creates opportunity. I'm Michelle Pachesney, founder of Boss Ladies Creating Empires. This is Boss Moves with Michelle. And your boss move action step for this week is, because we can't leave without taking action to what we've just learned, I want you to choose one problem, teach it, talk about it, give one action step. And I'll see you on the next training.